Multiclick 120 Novice. Okay, let's go. So, for this type of scenario, VT, of course, will take. Multiclick is a specific type of scenario, like closer to 1 volt 6 targets, not so small, but it's a big version. 120, of course, just a field of view angle is a novice variation for beginners. For out of the Voltaic Benchmarks Novice series. How do you play this scenario? So, this is like a big target, static clicking scenario. And what mostly trains is your reaction to different target distances and sizes. So this really forces you to adapt your aiming style to different situations. So here we have a big target, a medium-sized flick with a slightly small target, a medium-sized flick with another small target, and then we have a few small targets next to each other. And your technique kind of varies depending on where the target is. So that was a little bit awkward to break down on what you're doing because it's also very individual. But let's start, for example, for big distances or small sized targets, depending on where you are. So for such, if you want to go from here to here or vice versa, the same distance, you want to use basically the same technique as you used in the VT 1 volt 6 targets small RESP novice, where you make a big flick with your arm and a small micro correction with your fingers. Then you confirm if you're on target, if yes, then you click and go to the next target, basically. Now, if you are in close range, close proximity, all the targets are very big, or kind of both, like maybe here. So these targets are kind of closer, so it's the same for me. Or these targets are further apart, but the targets are bigger, so it's the same for me. Or same here, they're kind of closer. So this, I would then use a technique called training, what I explained in the early video, which is basically skipping a few steps. So first thing you skip is the big arm motion, just make basically only the micro correction, but you also do it very fast. And you also skip the confirmation step. So now basically with this pass, I would just click through all of them without checking the single position. So you can hear it in a sound that my clicking becomes very rapid. And this is basically what you want. You want to train your big flicks to count down, and then you want to go faster for short bursts where the targets are clamped up, then you go slower for bigger targets, then you go again fast for clamped up, and then again slower for further apart targets. I think I messed up my talking, but I hope you know what I mean. And this change of speed is really what's focusing here. In the end, you want to have a high speed, so you kind of want to have as much training and fast clicking without confirmation as possible. For this reason, I would also recommend to always aim for the center mass and not for some edges, because you basically skip the auto micro correction step, and so you want to have your big flick in the target, basically. But if you're a beginner, don't feel bad if you kind of need to flick and micro correct even for this ones. It's not bad. Just have some definition of how close the targets need to be together when you actually try to go for a double click. So even if you take all this as individual clicks, where you use this big flick, small micro correction, micro correction technique, but then you have this situation, then you go bam bam. Okay, it's kind of awkward with this breaks that I always miss the first target, but there are situations where they're close enough together where you can do it. And you really have to improve basically both things at the same time, and you also need to improve on when to use which technique, which of them both. So you have now the 3 levels of what you can improve, and for this scenario it really can help to watch your watch reviews back to define which of those you should train most. Regardless of what type of training you are currently doing or which type of motion, always focus on going in one straight line. So don't start circling in, and don't start to make unclean motions. So kind of such things. They just like have very defined motions. They are better for your training in general. So of course for this type of scenario, it's a little bit kind of such things. They just like have very defined motions. They are better for your training in general. So of course for this type of scenario, it's a little bit more unclear how precise you actually want to be, because what gives you a score is in the end only your speed. So you want to have a precision level where you get the most of your speed, and so the precision should be in general lower than for other static precision scenarios. But because the targets are bigger, people still kind of get high accuracy values, but they are not strictly required. They are just because of the top 100 people, of course, are just very good at this type of scenario. Well, I think something between 80% and 90% is plenty, is fine. Especially since this is a real scenario where you don't get punished for missing shots. Okay, I think this is a rather short one, because this is really just get a clean straight line and do it as fast as you can. And then after you've done as fast as you can, try to do it a little bit faster. Literally. Still focus on stopping, so don't kind of roll over, where you just always keep moving and just click at the correct timing. It also kind of works, but really gets a habit of stopping. Try to stop your crosser on the target. It really doesn't move for a few milliseconds when you click. So there are some situations where rolling over is kind of feasible. I would still suggest to not overuse it too much. Still try to stop. Develop your stopping power, your stopping muscles. They are very crucial for many aiming tasks. So I wouldn't roll over too much. Okay. So if you have any further questions, feel free to write it down in the comments or up.
So the very first thing you want to do to be able to go ahead and begin streaming to YouTube utilizing Streamlabs is you want to go ahead and open up your YouTube.
To add a Google Chrome window to OBS to stream it or record it, go ahead and go to the Sources section right down here within OBS Studio and hit the plus button. You'll want to select Window Capture. Now, before we do this, you want to make sure that you actually have an instance of Google Chrome open. Right now, I've got this instance on my other monitor where I'm just on google.com, okay? Open the instance of Google Chrome first before you do this. So right down here on Sources, hit the plus button. Then to grab that Google Chrome window, we're going to select Window Capture. Boom, here it is. I recommend naming it whatever it makes sense to you. I'm just going to call it Google Chrome for today. And hit OK. You're going to get this properties window. In this properties window, you want to leave all of the settings in place that are here by default, except for two you may want to change, unless you're looking to do something very advanced. So in the drop-down menu, it will have literally every window open on your computer at that time. You're going to want to find chrome.exe, and then whichever instance of Google Chrome you want to capture and show your audience. Click that and hit OK. And boom, as you can see, it's now capturing the Google Chrome window that I have on my other monitor. I can type in whatever I want there, AWOL Digital, for example, and boom, everybody can see in real time whatever you want them to see on that particular monitor. It's really, really cool on that particular instance of Google Chrome. Now, one setting you should be aware of, you guys are probably looking to do demos, maybe even video playback, is capture cursor. You can turn that on or off. I recommend leaving it on for demos and off if you're looking to do things like video playback and things that need to look cleaner, or maybe you're looking to just show the news or a chart. All right, then you hit OK. Now, the resolution of this is going to be exactly the same as the resolution and the aspect ratio of your actual window. So this may look a little confusing, okay, but bear with me, guys. As I resize the actual browser window, notice how it resizes in OBS in real time, right? So if you make it really teeny, it'll be really teeny within OBS. If you want to make it larger, it'll be larger within OBS. So if you want it to be a full HD window that's being captured, you can full screen it and it'll capture it at that resolution. Or if you just want to make it one little particular part, let's say you just wanted to show a Twitter feed, for example, you could do that. You could drag that to your other monitor and you could browse through Twitter and it would capture that in OBS. One fun trick with window capture and any other type of visual source is to right click on it, go to transform and do fit to screen. If your window ever gets out of control or it becomes a size you don't want, you can fit to screen and then it kind of gets it within the middle of the screen centered and you can move that window capture to whichever part of OBS you would like. The possibilities are endless and you can add an unlimited number of Google Chrome tabs to OBS using this method to display all sorts of content that you're browsing on the internet. As you can see, I'm browsing my Twitter feed in real time, which is absolutely fantastic. The possibilities here are endless and I've used this to do multi-million-dollar webinars, help out creators, and even just people doing online coaching calls themselves, tax people, whatever it may be. If you need help, you can schedule one-on-one coaching with me. Just go down to my scheduler tool here at the bottom, enter your name, your email, and select your date and time, and boom, I'm on a one-on-one video call helping you with your YouTube strategy, your social media strategy, or your technology at your home office.
Simon. I want to talk to you about audio sync issues you might run into on your live streams and how you can fix them. So let's get to it. My analytics say that 80% of the folks watching my content are not subscribed. Am I doing something wrong? Well, if so, they can help so you don't miss audio issues. First, we need to see if your equipment power is causing the issue. Let me show you how we can check that out. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go up into the top left and we're going to click on View, and we're going to add a doc, and we're going to select Stats. And this puts the stats doc in here. Now, you can see I'm already live down here, got the green bar, and if I flip over into YouTube, you can see we are live. But YouTube does not give us any actual stats as to how our stream is doing. It says excellent condition. We don't really know anything other than it's live, and it says excellent condition. The audio could be horrible. We don't really know. So back over here in OBS, this stats doc is going to tell us how it is. Now, I can move this stats doc anywhere. When you open it up, it might appear right here, and then you have to drag it over to the edge and drop it in. You'll notice I also have my scenes docked over here. These work just the same way. You can move them around, dock them anywhere you want. I have a lot of scenes, so I put it right there. So over here in the stats window, you can see that it tells us whether it's dropping any frames from lag or from rendering. You can also go down to the bottom and see whether it's actually buffering. If we're not dropping any frames down there, that means your machine is not buffering. But we're mostly concerned with what we're getting up here in the stats. Are we dropping any frames due to render lag or encoding lag? And if the answer to that is no, then it's a safe bet that you are not having a hardware problem. Your sync issues are software. But you definitely want to go to safe bet that you are not having hard dropping any frames down there. That means your machine is not buffering. But we're mostly concerned with what we're getting away. You can move them around, dock them anywhere you want. I have a lot of scenes, so I put it right there. So over here in the stats window, you can see that it tells us whether it's dropping any frames from lag or from rendering. You can also go down to the bottom and see whether it's actually buffering. If we're not dropping any frames down there, that means your machine is not buffering. But we're mostly concerned with what we're getting up here in the stats. Are we dropping any frames due to render lag or encoding lag? And if the answer to that is no, then it's a safe bet that you are not having a hardware problem. Your sync issues are software. But you definitely want to go and switch through each scene to make sure that you're not dropping any frames or getting any render lag. You want to make sure that your transitions happen and all that kind of stuff, just to be sure that you are actually not having any machine problem, that's not the cause of your problem. So if it is your machine's power causing the problem, there are a couple of things that we can do. So we know we have a hardware problem because we're lagging and dropping frames. So if we take a look at this chart, we can see now if we're trying to live stream at 1080 by 32 output, and right here is our kilobits per second, and we're going to use our little chart here, and we're going to adjust this down to the lower end of where we're at. So now that we've adjusted our bitrate lower, what else can we do? The first thing that controls your laggy stream is the encoder. So you want to drop this down and make sure that if you have a specialized encoder on a graphics card or something like an NVIDIA card, that you have that selected. That is actually a completely separate chip that's just designed to encode live streams and things like that. So if you have one, you definitely want to select it. If you don't have one, X264 is perfectly fine. Let's walk through X264 because I think generally speaking, people are going to run into lag are folks that don't have graphics cards. So let me walk you through how encoding works. Your time syncing up because that's really what's causing our problem. So let's jump over into OBS and we're going to click on settings and we're going to go to output. And right here is our kilobits per second. And we're going to use our little chart here. And we're going to adjust this down to the lower end of where we're at. So now that we've adjusted our bitrate lower, what else can we do? The first thing that controls your laggy stream is the encoder. So you want to drop this down and make sure that if you have a specialized encoder on a graphics card or something like an NVIDIA card, that you have that selected. That is actually a completely separate chip that's just designed to encode live streams and things like that. So if you have one, you definitely want to select it. If you don't have one, X264 is perfectly fine. Let's walk through X264 because I think generally speaking, people are going to run into lag are folks that don't have graphics cards. So let me walk you through how encoding works once you set this up. Now right down here you have your CPU usage and higher equals less CPU. So if I have this set to ultra fast, I am using much less computer power and it's just producing it as fast as it possibly can. So if you're running into lag issues, start with the lowest setting and go ahead and try it, test it and see if it works. And if it does work, then you can step up to a little faster setting to see if that works. You want to set it to as high as you can without creating any lag. But honestly, I'm not sure you need to go much past medium. If you've got it set to medium and it's not lagging, you're in good shape. Leave it right there because the quality really doesn't get a whole heck of a lot better once you push past medium. The other thing that you can do or you may need to do is if you're really lagging, it does mean that your equipment is not strong enough. You can go into video and downsize to 720. And believe me, I know a lot of people, they want to live stream at the highest rate that they possibly can, and I understand that. But most people are watching live streams on their cell phone at like 340. So if you have to downsize to 720, you're going to be okay. I'm serious, you're going to be fine. If you downsize here, make sure you downsize both because encoding two streams or encoding it in one way and then resizing it is more work. And then you can go back into your output and adjust your bitrate to that new encoding setting based on the chart, and then go ahead and adjust your CPU preset here as well, and just test. Now, I will recommend when you go and you switch the outside canvas resolution of your stream, what you're going to see happen is you're going to go into your scenes. So instead of it being like this, it's obviously, since this is 1080, it's going to be huge. It's going to, you're going to have it look like this. So what you're going to want to do, I know that this isn't a lot of fun, but what you're going to absolutely need to do is you're going to need to put these video assets and all of your assets into some form of editing software and scale them down to 720. Because if you're using 1080 assets in a 720 window with a 720 stream, then it's still re-encoding those. You're trying to take all of that stress off of your computer, and the easiest way to do that is to resize your assets. Now I know you're thinking, Mike, you're talking render lag and encoding lag. What does that have to do with my audio? Well, if you're having problems with render lag and encoding lag, that's what's causing your audio to be out of sync. So you definitely want to be sure that you make the proper adjustments to solve these problems and then test. Now, if your machine's power is not causing the problem, or you just fixed that and now you're still having the issue, then it's probably the fact that your camera and your microphone are both coming in through USB, but they're separate USB ports. USB buses have bandwidth limits, which is the root of this particular problem. But most computers have more than one USB bus. So the first thing to try is to move your camera or your microphone to a separate USB bus. So maybe from the back into the front, so have one in the front, one in the back, or however your USBs are set up. If that doesn't fix it, the next step is to manually sync it. All right, so you've got your hardware stuff squared away, or you've got the USB thing and you switch buses and you're still getting some lag or delay. Well, let me show you what you can do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our mixer right here. We're going to right click on the mixer and we're going to go to advanced audio properties. Now right in here you have a sync offset. You can adjust, and chances are the delay is going to adjust a lot faster. In other words, delaying the audio the way that it comes in is going to go a lot faster. So that's probably the best thing that you're going to want to do right there. If your video is ahead of your audio, this is how you would do that. But there is another way as well, and both of these methods work on delay. I mean, it says you can advance it here if you want. I don't know how you can make the audio come out any faster, so I haven't seen that actually work yet. But if you want to listen to it in your headphones so you can hear what OBS is hearing and processing, you want to go ahead and put on monitor and output so that you can put your headphones on and hear it. Now I can already tell you this is like really difficult to do or listen to because you can hear your own voice in your head when you're talking and you're listening to it in your headphones. So you really need some cans to block out the sound, and maybe there's a shot that you can sync it up with your video there, but it can be kind of tough. So the other way that you can do this is you can go into your video capture device or whatever device it is that has you. This is like really difficult to do or make the audio come out any faster, and it's going to go a lot faster. Still getting some lag or delay. Well, let me show you what you can do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our mixer right here. We're going to right click on the mixer and we're going to go to advanced audio properties. Now right in here you have a sync offset. You can adjust, and chances are the delay is going to adjust a lot faster. In other words, delaying the audio the way that it comes in is going to go a lot faster. So that's probably the best thing that you're going to want to do right there. If your video is ahead of your audio, this is how you would do that. But there is another way as well, and both of these methods work on delay. I mean, it says you can advance it here if you want. I don't know how you can make the audio come out any faster, so I haven't seen that actually work yet. But if you want to listen to it in your headphones so you can hear what OBS is hearing and processing, you want to go ahead and put on monitor and output so that you can put your headphones on and hear it. Now I can already tell you this is like really difficult to do or listen to because you can hear your own voice in your head when you're talking and you're listening to it in your headphones. So you really need some cans to block out the sound, and maybe there's a shot that you can sync it up with your video. video there, but it can be kind of tough. So the other way that you can do this is you can go into your video capture device or whatever device it is that's having laggy audio, and you can go in and right-click, go to filters, and then right here you have a video delay async. So let me remove that, and all you have to do is click the plus and go to video delay async, add it in here, you can select it, and then you can actually delay your video. So if your video's going big time first, like when you go like this and then you hear the thing 2 seconds later, you can delay that video so that you can sync up the audio. Now to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, the steps we did first to figure out the hardware issues on your computer are the most likely solutions to you having audio sync problems. The second issue is generally when you're using a separate microphone that's different from the camera, and usually changing the buses will fix the problem. This right here, this third solution here, is like a last ditch effort, because to be perfectly honest with you, it's very rare that I've actually gotten this process to sync microphones. But I wanted you to know about it just in case. I really do hate audio sync issues. They're the worst to try to fix. My personal strategy to avoid this is to use an audio source from the camera that I'm using. Now, don't do this if your camera audio is bad. Webcam audio is a good example of bad audio. I use an XLR microphone connected directly to my mirrorless camera. This connection goes through a cam link, and that way there's no way my camera audio can be out of sync, because they're both coming in on the same USB. Another option is an external mixer, which is going to do the same thing. Combine the camera and the mic signal externally, and then feed them into the same USB. Would you guys be interested in videos on setting up external mixers and that sort of stuff in the future? So I can show you how you do it? Well, let me know in the comments. And
Testing. Oh, what else? Hey, other.
Target. If yes, then you click and go to the next target, basically. Now, if you are in close range, close proximity, all the targets are very big, or kind of both, like maybe here. So these targets are kind of closer, so it's the same for me. Or these targets are further apart, but the targets are bigger, so it's the same for me. Or same here, they're kind of closer. So this, I would then use a technique called training, what I explained in the earlier video, which is basically